Dumb idea, really. Hi everyone, I'm Florian Puhani. Welcome to my new video. As you can see, there isn't much space behind me. So how could I use a pulling sled? From this position. Not without help.
Well, yes, I could just go in the opposite direction instead and waddle backwards like a duck after each rep. But that really disturbs the flow of the exercise, so I try to avoid it if I can. Therefore, I was really glad my wife agreed to assist me. For that, she couldn't do preacher curls like me though, because her arms are shorter than mine. So I would have inevitably ended up against the heating element behind me after the first couple of reps. Fortunately, my wife didn't mind at all just walking backwards with the sled, because she knows how great this exercise is for bulletproofing her knees. She learned that from Ben Patrick, the knees over toes guy. Check out his channel if you want to learn more about the backward sled pull. As for this video, I will focus on the concentric only preacher curls I am doing here. Yes, that's right, we were both performing our respective exercise strictly concentric only style, meaning we didn't provide any extra resistance when the other one was actively moving the sled. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering what my suitcase bruiser is doing in this shot, it's just that he wouldn't move anywhere without putting up a nasty fight first. So I prefer to leave him in peace as long as he isn't directly in the way. Okay, now why would I intentionally miss out on the most hypertrophy-inducing phase of an exercise, namely the eccentric one? Because hypertrophy isn't really the issue here. Ever since awkward object lifting has become my new passion a couple of months ago, my biceps have been through a lot. Too often they ended up in a position where they were forced to save the day, so to speak. They were the last resort that kept the heavy suitcase or sandbag from uncontrolled dropping. That meant unexpected sudden eccentric loads at an obtuse angle in the elbow joints. In the worst case, something like that could even lead to a tear. But on the other hand, they also had to endure prolonged isometric contractions, especially in all the lifts that included a bear hug. That led to persisting abnormal tenseness in the muscle bellies of my biceps. You could consider that just a nuisance. And of course, there is nothing wrong in principle with the occasional isometric training. But your tendons still prefer to be stretched and relaxed repeatedly, like in any full range of motion dynamic exercise. Because that way they can soak up nutrients from the surrounding synovial fluid like a sponge. So I decided the biceps tendons in my elbow joints deserved a spa day. Yes, that's what concentric only training basically is to them. Because it gets them this important intermittent stretching and relaxing practically without any risk of injury. Ben Patrick had his 70-year-old mother pull a sled that weighed 1,000 pounds. And you know what happened? Nothing. The sled didn't budge, of course, but it also couldn't do any harm to the elderly lady. That's how risk-free concentric only training really is. Next time with the sled I will do pelican curls, to also include the long and short biceps tendons in the shoulder. Because with preacher curls your shoulders are somewhat flexed, so your biceps are already slightly shortened in that joint. But on the other hand, due to the pulling angle and the resulting strength curve, I get a much better peak contraction here. And I personally really love that, no matter what modern studies may say about its unimportance. Now look at that. For sure that's not how my biceps would look cold. And I didn't do anything else for them apart from what you've seen in this video. But apparently that was enough to give them a decent pump. Even makes my triceps and shoulders look really small by comparison. Okay, after that little showing off and the physiotherapy nerd talk before, let me conclude this video on a more practical note. Here is my personal DIY pulling sled design. Click the link in the info card if you want to learn how to build the wooden loading pin platform. And please don't hesitate to ask me in your comment below if you have any questions about any step of the construction process. Thank you for watching. My name is Florian, and I will continue to make an effort so that you don't get bored with your training.